And as young people, I feel this country has a very narrow window. We talk about this young age dividend, population dividend. It's short-lived. We have 20 years. In these 20 years, if we as Indians are not able to create a country that can sustain for next 200 years, we would have missed the opportunity. Because the same problem that Western Europe faces, or Japan is facing, we'll have the same problem in 25 years. It's young youth dividend, our youth conclave hum kar rahe hain. We are young today as a country. In 25 years' time, we'll have a huge burden in our society. We don't have social wealth, we don't have insurances. The only family values keep a family intact. So to my mind, what all of us have to do, all of you have to do, you are much younger than I am, you have to create an India that can take care of itself 100 years from today. And this demographic dividend will not last forever. Next 25 years, the median Indian age will increase. And then you'll have a population burden, health issues, unemployment issues. So really take the time to create not just for Jito and for the state, but for the entire country. When you think of a business, don't think of yourself in the industry, think of the nation and how you're able to contribute. And I like all of what you said, that it's not about an association. Jito mein aap business kare, prosper kare, achhi baat hai. But ultimately we belong to this country. We can be from different communities or regions, religions, but ultimately if India doesn't do well, none of you will do well. If India doesn't progress, we will not all progress. So this collective good is what we will aspire for. How we can contribute, how can we shareholders, how can I be a stakeholder. You know, people have this fallacy, मेरा business अच्छा चलना चाहिए, बाकी GDP का क्या होगा, देश का क्या होगा, नहीं. Please remember, the price of petrol, what you study in your books, colleges, syllabus, and how much peace we have in society, it's decided by politicians and politics. So please don't think of you as separate. Pura ecosystem is a collaborative effort. So we have to join hands. I think young people must understand this. It's not them and us, right? It's not lawmakers, policymakers, politicians, entrepreneurs, business people, service people. No, we have to work hand in hand. What policies we make, what industry does in the next 10, 20 years, how we adapt to technology, all of this is something that we have to work together. And I think all of you young people who are doing businesses must think of not just sheer profit, but how we can benefit the larger good. Of course, when we do business, we have to create wealth, we have to create jobs, but that must count for something. If a large portion of India remains underdeveloped, it will become a huge drag. No matter how much profits you earn, the country won't rise. And we have to ultimately work for the country, right? That should be our top priority.
So as you rightly said, I mean, before we took cues of this session, I would like to tell everyone that 3 of our Jito youth wing members are also contesting your local body elections in Maharashtra. So what do you think is more important in politics to succeed? Time, the timing of your entry, the treasure, that is the talent that you bring in, or the treasure, that is of course your pockets that you bring in. So what is more important, the timing, the treasure, or the talent?
So obviously when you start a new business venture, ideation, you have to have the correct idea, you've got to have a correct strategy, and you've got to have adequate backing for your idea, right? All these things. And then, if all goes well, a bit of luck, right? You need all of that. So I don't think politics is any different. But I can just say this much, that there are 2 types of politics. One is that you do you fight elections, corporation, MLA, MP. Those elections sometimes are determined by forces greater than you. So it takes more than just hard work and talent. It takes perseverance, dedication, and a lot of patience, right? So you have
and a little bit of luck.
Every quarter you have to report to the board, shareholders, you have to answer to the, whatever, every 3 months. But I think in public life, you take a much longer view of how you are, how the country is, what your timelines are. But if the aim and objective is to serve, whether you win or lose, government or opposition, your objective should not change. If your objective is only to get into power, then that's a wrong way to look at it. Right? You only want to get to power so you can do and implement those policies and thoughts and ideas that you have. That's why we all fight elections to win. Right? That's the whole idea.
That's quite an answer. So let's get more candid. So, off the camera, who is Sachin Pilot as a person?
अब ये बड़ा मुश्किल है कहना भाई. I am who I am. I try to be as normal as I am, and I think today, this day and age, it has become so difficult that you can pretend to be who you want to pretend. लेकिन 24/7, someone or the other is watching you. So लोग कहते हैं कि थोड़े time के लिए you can pretend to be something, but ultimately, you know, you are who you are, and unless you are comfortable in your own skin, it shows. आप कितना pretend कर लोगे, आप कितना दिखावा कर लोगे, 1 घंटा, 2 घंटा, 12 घंटा, 2 दिन, 3 दिन, 10 दिन, ultimately who you are, लोग जान जाते हैं. And I think if you look at someone in the eye, you can tell he or she वो कितना सच्चा बोल रहा है, झूठा बोल रहा है. So I try and be as normal, as natural as I am, and frankly, it's almost impossible to be in public life and pretend to be something you're not. So I am exactly who I am, you know, good or bad. That's how it is.
So, given this generation that we are in, Gen Z, Gen Alpha and whatnot, it's become up. Every youth today wants a faster result and their attention span is like very quick, right? So, how do you convince the youth that democracy is buffering and it's not building? What is your say on that?
That's a very good one. You see, I view democracy in the following way. It's not about merely going and casting a vote and someone loses, someone wins. That's not democracy. Real democracy is when you have the freedom of thought, freedom of action, within reasonable limits, to question, to set accountability, to disagree, to respectfully not agree with somebody is a very democratic motion. Fighting and winning elections is one part of it. You can fight elections, you can lose and win. But I think the whole ecosystem in which we operate, whether it's the judiciary, whether it's the media, whether it's election commission, whether it's, that has to be free and fair. That has to be level playing field. Don't forget, look around our country, whether it's Pakistan, Nepal, China, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. Where do we have real democracy? Which country's example do people give? Oh, I think the democracy in Nepal is great, or Bangladesh is great, or Pakistan. No, they talk about India. Why? For 75 years, we've demonstrated to the world that we are a thriving, vibrant, working democracy. Why? Because we have government and opposition. Now, if you want to finish the opposition, I'm only in the government, then then we will not be the temple of democracy if we are. I'm not about any party and such. I've been in government and I'm in the opposition. I just feel that it's important to have institutions that are respected, that are transparent, and that are, for 70 years, Indian democratic institutions are second to none. We must keep their integrity intact. Because elections will come and go, parties will come and go, governments will come and go, leaders will come and go. But this country will remain. And for this country to remain a stable, vibrant, functional democracy, we have to have strong institutions, a strong government, and a strong opposition.
What a line. So with that, I would like to ask you something. What's the most unrealistic expectation that people have had out of you?
That happens quite a lot, because once you are an elected MP, MLA, minister, then you have a lot of requests for anything. And I don't blame people. Sometimes they just ask for things that are impossible to do, but लोग समझते नहीं. If you are a strong, powerful person, सब हो जाता है. And that's the problem. In India we feel कि वो इतना बड़ा वो इंसान है, कुछ भी कर सकता है. It's not possible, right? But I think sometimes people have these expectations, and the best way is, without being rude, without being unruly, you can explain to the person that it's not possible. Whether it's jobs, transfers, admissions, whatever, and they're limited resources. So one has to really explain, and to break someone's expectations is also hard. It's not easy. And the old person comes to me from a small village and wants a job for his son or his daughter. I have to say I'll try. I can't guarantee, I'd like to, but I don't have the resources or bandwidth to do it. But the fact to explain to him, 200 रुपए खर्च करके मेरे घर आया है, मेरे से कुछ आवेदन करना है, कुछ अरमान लेके आया है, because he hopes I can do it. Now that expectation may be unfounded, but I can't say no, it's not possible. मैं बिठाता हूँ, चाय पिलाता हूँ, समझाता हूँ, बॉस ये नहीं हो सकता, ये ऑप्शन बी, ऑप्शन सी, ऑप्शन डी, and what best we can do. So I think in public life you have to be careful of sentiments, how people have expectations. You can't just brush them aside. So थोड़ा समझा के प्यार से बोलो. And I think a lot of times we don't communicate as well. If we communicate and explain, people understand, and that's how life is anyway.
So, with that, I would like to ask you something very interesting. How do you keep your patience? Because we've seen 2022 and there was a lot that was said and written about you, but still you never lost your cool. So, what is your mantra for that?
रजत जी, मैं बहुत बार बोल चुका हूँ, राजनीति करनी है तो सर पे बर्फ और मुंह में गुड़. That's it. सर पे बर्फ रखो, ठंडा रहेगा, और मुंह में गुड़ रखो, मीठा बोलो, and everything falls in place.
So, गुड़, मुंह में गुड़ तो होना चाहिए, बात सही है. तो आई थिंक उसी के चलते हुए आप जहाँ भी जाते हो आपको बहुत लोग आई लव यू बोलते हैं, तो इसके पीछे का राज क्या है?
मुझे कोई कारण पता नहीं है. I don't know who started this, but sometimes it gets a little awkward. But I don't know how it started, but I noticed that as well, and it's it is what it is. Can I say?
So okay, let's have a quick rapid fire. We have a short time now.
No rapid fire. I'm happy to take questions from any of these people who want to ask me something.
Okay, so we are opening the questions to public. Can we have the mics?